Have you ever driven past a business and you just knew you had to turn around to go in? That's what happened to me on this day. It was the day I was driving home from purchasing my consignment furniture that was shown in the last video, and I was feeling pretty tired and weary, but I drove past Stonegate Gardens in Lincoln, and I just had to turn around. It looked so inviting from the outside. And as soon as I went to the front door, I saw this arch, and I knew this was something that I was looking for my gardens, but I couldn't figure out how to get it home, so I passed on that one right now. But as soon as I walked in, the sight of this soaring fireplace and stonework grabbed my attention, and I knew that inside was going to be a treat to behold. I was pleasantly surprised to see they had a little bit of this and a little bit of that, all with a touch of little refined elegance and flair, but also very casual. This miniature terrarium reminds me of the one I have at home that has one of my fairies inside. And when I said they had a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I meant it. And I kept wondering what the building was on the other side when I walked in, but right now I'm going to focus on this part of the store, and I see the greenhouse ahead of me. But then I do think there's a treat in store for me. Oh, hello. I would have waved, but I had my purse in one hand, my camera in the other. So now I've come across some of the gardening items, and I just love the displays here. One of my jobs was a visual merchandiser. I actually won a Massachusetts State Award for visual merchandising in the past, and so I really appreciate the time and effort it takes to create such vignettes. But I'm here now looking at the seed packets, which was one of the reasons I stopped. I grabbed a few seed packets, which I will show you later, and I have some things I can't wait to try. I really am going to have fun with these seeds. But right now, I'm checking out the garden center. For me, there's just something invigorating about walking in from the cold and then working into a nursery that's warm, and you can just smell the soil and the plants. It's refreshing, and it actually makes me realize that spring is not too far away. When I came across this geode display, I was quite enthralled by it. You know, I always love looking at these slowly. And bear with me here, I sometimes think people and geodes are very similar. Some of them can look harsh and cold on the outside, but on the inside they're really beautiful. You just don't know what something's like on the inside until you get to know it and learn about it and look at it. I'm already spying something I see in the distance that I'm going to purchase. I grabbed a fern the other day. Oh, not this one. This is not a fern. Over to the fern, Linda. There we go. The other day, I purchased a fern at another nursery, and I wish I purchased two. And this is the exact same size, and I have one in my silver urn or my champagne bucket, and I'm going to grab this one to put in the other champagne bucket, and I have them now in the kitchen. Probably not show that on this video, but I will show it in a future one as long as I keep it alive. And I was just pleased with this, so off to home it goes with me. When I asked one of the sales associates where I pay for my items, she did say I am to head over to the other store. I was very excited to confirm that there was one more place to look, but I'm giving this section one last peek before I go out in the cold and into another building and see what I can see. As soon as I entered the other part of the store, I got an immediate smile on my face. Once again, the visual displays were really well done, and I knew exactly what they were trying to tell me. They were telling me a story of Easter, and I saw a story of Valentine's Day, and it was just very fun and whimsical. And I actually picked up a few things in this part of the store as well. Take note how they have these beautiful crystal candlesticks amongst linens and wood and copper, all different elements, but they all work beautifully together. This is giving me an idea. We'll chat about that a little bit later. But here I go. I've got my finds. I'm gonna head home now, and let's go look at the seeds that I bought once I get home. Oh look, 3 white SUVs in a row, and only one's dirty. I can't pretend it's not mine. Alright, I'm back home. I already put the plant into the champagne bucket, but let me take out the seeds and show you what I got. I'm going to put aside these items here. I'm hoping that I do well with seeds. Honestly, I like to buy things as seedlings, but sometimes with seeds you can get things that you don't normally find out and about already started. I purchased 2 of these. It says I'll have 32 plants, so in my mind that means 64 plants. But let's see what I have here in the bag. I started with some onions. Last year I did the small onions and I really liked cooking with them. So I'm going to try some onions that are more like a Vidalia, and hopefully I can figure out when to pull them. Sometimes when they're under the ground I get a little nervous making sure that they're ready to be pulled. And then pumpkins. I love growing pumpkins, but they didn't work last year here at the home, so I'm going to try them in a different location because I have so many that I use out front. Now I wanted to try this for the first time, the stevia. You know, I don't put sugar in my tea, but I thought this might be fun to make my lemonade with, and it might prevent me from having to use sugar. So I'm going to give that one a try. That will be a first time for me. Then I'm also going to plant some chamomile to make tea. I didn't have any this year, and I've never actually grown chamomile. And the fact that it needs full sun, I know it's going to go in my center garden with a lot of my other herbs. And same thing here. This is full or part shade, so I'm going to probably put those in a different area. Love dill. I'm going to put this in an area. This is also full sun. I have to also make sure how far I have to space some of these so that I make sure I have enough space in that garden. And how do I pronounce this? Borage? I liked that these flowers can be used in salads, or I can candy them. So this will be a first for me as well. I've never used these before. I've never grown them, and I'm looking forward to doing that for a first time. And then I have these beans. Last year I loved growing the green beans up on a tower that I created, but they did have a lot of string to them. So this here said tender and stringless, and I was like, I'm going to do that because I don't usually like green beans and peas, but I loved them fresh from the garden. So hopefully that's going to be my answer. And then I grabbed a little free pamphlet that they had to help me with some questions that I might have for the planting. Now the last thing in my bag, I did end up grabbing these place cards. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these exact cards, but this is going to be my inspiration for a garden theme party that I'm hoping to pull together if the world allows, and it's going to be somewhat of a seedling and seed exchange garden party, because there's always times, let's just say if I buy a 6-pack of cucumbers, I really only need 1 or 2 of those seedlings, and then I have extra. So I thought it would be a great idea if each person brought something and we swap them and share our garden purchases, and then when we're gardening, we can think of our friends and things that they have of ours and things that we shared. For those of you who are still with me, you get to see the first sneak peek of Ben's painted office. Here it is with the soft green from the previous owner. And he wanted a nice deep rich red, so I went out and bought the can of paint, as you might have seen in the previous video. I also went in and did all the caulking around the new windows that were put in, and now I just have to paint the trim, but I'm going to do that on another day. And those pictures on the wall, I'm going to talk to you or share something with you in just a moment, but I'm just giving you a quick view of this before the desk arrives, hopefully this week. And that's my father's chair from my childhood home. I just like how it's being used still in our home right now. And here's a little fun factoid. These are my husband's second great-grandfather's enlistment papers for the Civil War. We had them framed professionally in some acid-free paper. And this is his uncle and his grandfather with Ronald Reagan. His uncle was his science advisor who actually worked on the Star Wars program. Well, friends and my subscribed kindred spirits, I wanted to thank you for visiting my channel this time, and right now I have to go get ready for a meal tomorrow. It is Valentine's Day, but we're also going to celebrate my youngest child's birthday. He's turning 29, and then I'm going to be working in the basement for the little garden area I mentioned in the last video. We did get the desk down there, and I'm also going to be looking at wallpapers for another room and working on my stepdaughter's room. We have a lot going on here, and then I promise I'm going to do the video on why we're looking for a house. I know I keep saying that, but I have a lot going on here. I'm working on the home for ourselves, because if we don't find a home, I want it to still be our home that we're decorating. But if we find a home, I also want the home to be done and ready to go on the market, if that makes sense. But for now, thank you so much for visiting my channel, New England Fine Living, where I hope to inspire you to find your version of fine living, no matter how simple or grand that may be, no matter where you live. Bye now.